The Russian use of deception, whether it be painting shadows of aircraft on tarmac, or trying to disrupt the radar signatures of aircraft by putting tires on their wings and everything else, or using blow-up aircraft, or in many cases, models of armored vehicles made out of plywood and other things, is nothing new. It is a recognized tactic of war. During the Second World War, the Allies created a complete fake army as part of Operation Fortitude, and that was to convince Hitler that we had the majority of our troops ready to attack in through the Pas de Calais, whilst the real D-Day landings were being prepared to go in through Normandy. So deception has always been a part of warfare, and it needs to meet the requirements of how the opposing force is going to look at different things. So if it's purely optical, you can get away with something that's blow up, something that's painted or something else. But if it's optical and then has some other form of sensor in it, whether it be infrared or whether it be a radar sensor or be something else, it's much more complex to try and carry out bluffs. And we've seen the Russians put wooden vehicles with radar reflectors in them to try and confuse some of the radars that are out there to draw fire in. And it's a good military tactic, because what it does is it allows you to cause the enemy to waste its ammunition on something that has got no military value whatsoever. If a pile of plywood gets blown up, it doesn't matter. It also allows you to cause the enemy to unmask where they're firing from, and that can then give you an advantage of recognizing that and firing back if you've got something in range. And it can also be a way of denuding very expensive weapons. So we're seeing the Russians flying drones in alongside their Shahad drones and their missile attacks that are decoys. So they don't carry explosives. They are much cheaper. That's in there. They're to draw fire from expensive missiles and everything else. And this is nothing new. Again, during the Kosovo War, the Serbs recognized that the Allied anti-radiation missiles fired from aircraft would hone in on a frequency that was very similar to that would come out of a microwave oven. And they went and got lots of cheap microwave ovens, ripped the doors off, taped down the micro switch on it and switched them on. And I think we destroyed hundreds of microwave ovens that would have cost about $20 each for the microwave oven. The missile that destroyed it would have cost $100,000. That's not a bad return on expenditure for those that are trying to cause a bluff. And therefore, it's something that we, the Allies, used to be good at. We have lost a lot of our capability in it. Ukraine has recognized that, and Ukraine is doing similar things to the Russians. But it's nothing new. There's great utility in it. The Russians, when it comes to masking, and others have a doctrine, and they rehearse this. And old Soviet countries, the old Eastern Bloc countries, tend to be very good at it. The use of donkeys and use of camels is dictated by the terrain. And the British Army used mules in Bosnia. And a lot of the time, the only way that we could get resupplies going up into certainly the Gorazda and Srebrenica were by mule trains carrying ammunition in and everything else. It is, people think, unusual with modern militaries where you've got vehicles that'll get everywhere. There's very often conditions where vehicles can't get everywhere, and you still need to haul heavy ammunition, mortars, artillery pieces, and other things around. So again, the use of horses, the use of donkeys, the use of camels. Camels are slightly unusual in Ukraine, but if you've got anything that's a pack animal that has got the ability to carry heavy weights over difficult terrain, then that's used. And one of the greatest difficulties there is about Ukraine, terrain-wise, is the mud, because Ukrainian mud is one of the best anti-armor capabilities that's out there. It sucks tanks into the ground. It does the same with any wheeled vehicles. It just sucks them until they stick. And with people walking across it, it's very difficult, which is why we've seen Russian tactics change to small groups of people on foot, or possibly on small motorbikes, or all-terrain vehicles. But again, people on foot can't carry loads over long distances. And the front line now is 10 to 15 kilometers deep. For a soldier to walk through that carrying lots of ammunition, he probably have it all expended by the time he gets to the proper front line again because of the threat from drones and everything else. So it is what I would expect militaries to be doing, given the conditions that there are in certain parts of the front line.